Good afternoon and welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. And we're trying to dodge the fireworks tonight. Neindorf, how are you?
Doing very well. Yeah, there was some crazy fireworks out here where I live, probably up until like 11 o'clock. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's fireworks have been they allowed the sale of fireworks in our county recently a couple years ago, and the fourth has been a lot more adventurous ever since then. All right, so
No doubt.
we have a quick pod today. We're going over, really so many topics, whether it's in Discord discussion or just in our own text messages that we said, let's throw together a quick pod for the fourth. So why don't you go ahead and take us away with the question of the day that you have lined up?
Sure, yeah. So I think, you know, kind of to segue off of this long-running conversation we've been having about lower jewel prices, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I think that kind of gets you thinking, back when we were starting, 1,000 jewel was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you can pretty affordably get 1,000 jewel. So that being said, I guess my question is where would you or how would you spend 1,000 jewel today, where we're at right now in this game?
Yeah, and I think a good preview or reminder again, and I think most of you know this already, this is not financial advice in our
Of
podcast.
course.
Yeah, don't follow what we do. So, with that disclaimer said, actually, it's kind of funny. I recently actually did, I cheated, and I did this both ways. So, and I'm not even going to try to do the math in my head right now, but 1,000, I actually bought a little more than 1,000 jewel. And I decided to go in on two separate things. And so this is where I'm kind of cheating with the answer to my question or your question. And so I guess if
Sure.
I'll tell you both, and then I'll tell you if I had to choose one, what I'd do. And so I threw some jewel into jewel and crystal into the jewel crystal pairing over there in Crystal Vale. And so I did not have a lot in the gardens. And so I decided to throw a little bit of money in there. And I think that's what is, as much as I am a degen player, like if I was going to recommend to a new player, like what should you do or what would you do? And give them not financial advice, I would say, just stack those lock crystal rewards. I think crystal is going to continue to increase in value. I think Crystal might be more valuable as a token in the future because I think DFK chain is going to really take off, especially with Harmony feeling like a clogged toilet lately. And then I also bought a Mythic Monk, so that's that's where
Uh,
I can't help myself from being a DGen player. Um, and I think my Mythic Monk cost me, I want to say 800 jewel, and I got a level 6 Mythic Monk. And
wow.
so, pretty happy. I got a ninja subclass, and he has something unreal like 22 luck. He's over in my other account. Otherwise, I'd bring him up. I'll bring him up while you're answering your version of the
Sure.
question. So, that's what I have done with my jewel lately.
Very nice. So I guess for me, and this is kind of funny too, because I just did this basically. Yeah, also broke down and bought some more jewel. Probably also a little more than 1,000, but I will restrict my answer to the confines of that question. If, why not, right? So we were chatting, and we we were kind of noticing that it seems as though there isn't a lot of value being placed in these Crystal Veil classes. Probably, and I think you were hypothesizing because there's no way to get to Dread Knight from them, for
Right.
example, which I think is 100% valid. And so then that got my mind wondering a little bit. I'm kind of I like to play that long game, and so also trying to find a few more purple guys for my lineup.
Yeah.
Stumbled across a mythic seer with 9 summons this morning,
Nice.
and it was Gen 2 9 of 9. So, and it was for sale for 850. So I was like, all right, it's a little pricey maybe, but with 9 summons left, there's a lot of value there. And it was purple agility, which I think plays well for those classes, the shapeshifter even too, if you're thinking way down the road.
Right.
Uh, so I did that, and then the other, so that was 850. So still got a little bit left. Another feature I've been playing with on the side here that I actually just released is the ability to set up alerts that you can say, I only want heroes who are boosted with a lesser, regular, or greater stone of any particular stat. So this is a pretty big feature, I think. I've been playing around with it, and I also found a hero that hit. I think it was an archer knight, and he had a greater stone on endurance. So I was like, you know what, that plays really well into the subclass boost of the knight. So that greater stone actually gives him like a 39% chance to secondary roll of endurance every level. So and he was like 45 jewel. So I was like, yes, sold.
There you go.
So that's kind of my little intro to dev dive. Plus, I'm also buying heroes, another DGN.
Yeah. And let's put a pin in dev dive and hit that in a second. One thing that I've been thinking about that you mentioned, you and one of your coworkers that also plays have a frequent conversation around the concept of, are you going to be a farmer? Are you going to be a battler? Are you going to be, a
Yeah.
supplier of items in the future marketplace that will be ADFK or DFK? And so I think that's a really interesting concept. And I like, it feels like you're thinking about kind of going down a little bit of the supplier route, but this Mythic Seer could be a battler too in the future.
Yeah, and I think, there's a couple ways you can think of the supplier too. So obviously materials, your mats, right?
Right.
So me and my coworker have been watching market prices quite a bit lately, off of our market data app.
I'll bring it
And,
up on screen.
yeah, there you go. And something that him and I have noticed is there's a lot of sawtooth patterns in a lot of the tokens. And if you watch the transaction data closely, if you click those links on the side, it takes you to Deck Screener and you can kind of see what's happening. And it seems as though there is a healthy market of more or less, I would assume, whales purchasing materials. And then you'll see slowly the farmers, the providers, like I would like to be, selling back to balance that price back
Yeah.
out. And then you'll see another big purchase. So, I I think this is going to play nicely. And another dev dive topic, market data alerts. We'll get into that later probably too. But yeah, I actually love it, and I like watching market data, and I think it's just kind of intriguing. So yeah, no doubt. I think that's the role I'm kind of looking forward to.
And a nice sign of maturity of this game. And, I think I think a real positive sign for the future that, stamina potions, I assume, are driving, the value of most of these items or the
Correct.
items
Yep.
that are most valuable. And it's just kind of neat seeing that that's taking off and still valuable and having its own market fluctuations inside a bear market. And so that actually gives me confidence about the future of the game.
Yeah, and then another thing to think about too. Maybe we don't really think of it yet, but I think we need to keep an eye out for this. At some point, you're also going to be supplying heroes. I think you got to also think about the supply of heroes from Gen Zeros
Yeah.
or even Gen Ones. So like that's going to be, like I said, they're more of a complicated NFT, so we don't really usually think of them as a material.
Mm-hmm.
But with some of these possible hero burn mechanics, or even like if you look at the pets, how you can trade them in, it's possible you could see stuff like that for heroes, and then you kind of got to consider the hero producer market also.
Yeah, I as a Gen Zero holder myself, I hope that continues to stay healthy.
Yep.
I think actually in the bear market, when you think about the amount of jewel that you can get from a Gen One, that has become more healthy than it was when we were at the peak of jewel at $20 a jewel, or even in the $10 a jewel range. People just weren't summoning as much. It's so
Right.
expensive.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's I guess hit the rest of the dev dive topics. So you also released a feature on pets recently.
Yes.
So go check that out, folks. Got a pet ID you want me to punch in?
I
Or just
mean,
any of them?
you can. Do you have any in your wallet by chance, or did you sell all yours?
I still have zero pets.
All right. Just punch in a random number.
All right.
We can just talk through what's on the screen.
Yeah, not that random. I just punched in 300. So pet number
There you
300
go.
came from a gray egg, a bonus count of 2, hatched in the first season. He is shiny, common, and as I'm looking at some of these, it's funny to me that just things like the season are sticking out to me now that I wouldn't have otherwise thought about before.
Right. So, from what I understand, season is basically the period of the game in which that egg is opened. So the pet like art and I think names and all that stuff that you see right now are, I believe, specific to season one. So
Mm,
in the future, there would be a fall on season, and then you'll never be able to get these types of pets again, was my thought. I thought I
okay.
read that, heard that somewhere. Maybe someone go double check me on that. So there is some people, or I've heard suggestions that, maybe you could hang on to a couple eggs in case, when the season does roll, maybe those will be different and new and exciting and valuable. But I got to imagine that's going to be a long road. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, well that's pretty neat. So you said, well, pet data's out now. You're working on alerts for market data.
yep.
Anything else that's going on in the lab?
Yeah, so yeah, we kind of like I said, we touched on the alerts feature. Basically, like we said, if your heroes are summoned using an enhancement stone, yeah, you can put alerts on that to kind of help you find some of those boosted heroes a little bit easier. Because honestly, it's impossible in the game. I basically ended up to do this manually. I was copying and pasting IDs into the site, and it just took forever. So this was a way that, I thought, maybe it would help some people out there if you're uh, kind of looking for that extra boost. It's kind of like a little bit like we've seen in our Discord, people posting level ups of some of their Dread Knights with all those higher stat percentages actually are paying dividends, it feels like. And so that's kind of where I got this idea. Greater stone boosts give you a pretty solid, if paired well with a subclass, that's a pretty solid boost.
I agree, and that's it. I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays into whether you're going to be a producer for if you could like go the route of trying to get a hero that's great at professions, and then you're supplying the materials market,
Absolutely.
which your seer could do because he's a gardener, right?
Yep.
um, or you could go the battle route, and you're trying to build up your hero and that secondary, that enhanced set of roles for your secondary class, especially if you pair that with crystals. Like you're saying, it gets to be a lot easier to level up a few points here and there, which could make a big difference for battle
Yep.
down the
That's
road.
right. And then the final feature is on the hero analytics page. Um, I put a breakdown of the populations of advanced, elite, and transcendent heroes, so you can see, how many active one, advanced one heroes are there, all the way through passive two, advanced four, and then so I don't know if you wanted to pull that up. It's kind of I don't know, it's a pretty chart, if you will, that kind of really helps you see, uh, you know, discrepancies first of all, and
Hmm.
you can ask the question of why is it just random? At this point, I got to assume it's random that some are lower than others.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think it's a pretty cool little feature. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I do have it up on screen right now, and um, hero count elite abilities. I mean, that's interesting, and transcendent abilities as well. That's
Yep.
pretty
And
fascinating.
in the future, I'd like to add where you can see some sort of metrics on who has um, multiple of these advanced elite or transcendents,
Yeah,
right?
I think
It's just
that's the $1 million question right there.
it is with all the permutations, the back end side on the database gets to be a little funky. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around how to display all those permutations. So
Yeah,
here's what you have in the meantime.
yeah. All right, well, go check it out, and if you haven't had a chance to can't speak today. too much fireworks last night. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do that. That goes a long way to supporting us. A couple different ways that you can subscribe and follow us. I'm over on Twitter. You'll catch my information, my Twitter bio in the description of the podcast. And then sub to YouTube. That would be a massive help for us. We're going to try to drive a lot more giveaways through YouTube, and also subscribe to the site. And so you can sign up and pay in Jewel. I guess that's another feature that we're going to release. We'll probably open up payments in Crystal pretty soon.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that way it gives us some flexibility. Again, kind of prepping for, like you said, if the team does start to focus, the DFK team itself starts to focus more on Crystal Vale. It seems like a nice, natural thing. Support the power tokens on all the DFK realms, basically.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so subscribing on YouTube, that brings us to our most recent giveaway, which we did a naming giveaway. And so come up with a name for your alt account that is responsible for auto questing. And I believe you have selected a winner. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, there's one that I think it struck me as pretty funny, so I had to go that route.
Yeah, and so that is easy like Sunday morning. And so congratulations, Millkeeper, for that excellent selection of a name. So we've chosen easy like Sunday morning. All right,
Yep.
so right
I
now,
may or may not have read that on a Sunday morning too, by the way, which helped.
Yeah, bonus points, well timed. Okay, so I'm going to bring up on screen. I tried to do a summon, and I'm trying to open up the crystal right now. And so what I am bringing up on screen, and I'll open up Discord so you can see this as well. Apologize for not doing that earlier.
No, you're good. And there it is.
All right, so Millkeeper, easy like Sunday morning. You got a Dark Knight. All right, so that means with our pure set, we've given away a rare, who was first, and then we've given away now 2 5 out of 5 Dark Knights. Do you have a guess on what the rarity is for this Dark Knight?
Oh, man, I'm always, for whatever reason, whenever we're streaming and someone asks, the only thing that comes to my mind is uncommon. I don't know why. And so I'm going to stick with uncommon.
Uncommon? All right, I'm going to go with the rare. I guessed legendary last time, and I was off. Again, I would love nothing more than to give away a mythic. I think that'd be so neat for our channel to do that, to give back to the community. So I'm pulling for a mythic, but I'm guessing a rare. So, all right, clicking on this. Uncommon.
Hey, there it is. Ooh,
Dark
Knight. Dude, that's a solid.
Boosted strength and green vitality and blue strength. And
that's a solid
Gardening's
hero.
not bad, especially with that boosted vitality. Dark Knights make decent miners, gardeners. So let's go over and throw his ID, because last time we missed that we also produced one with an advanced ability.
Didn't it have 2 advanced even?
2 advanced. You're right.
It was pretty crazy. We totally missed that live.
We missed it, and someone on YouTube was like, "Hey, don't forget this." All right, so strength is boosted. Advanced 4 and advanced 3.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, man!
So the 1 is in the stats unknown. So again,
which was the same as last time. Yeah.
Yep.
But advanced 4 ability as active too. So
pretty awesome.
This is
gardening. Wow.
pure gardener. He's friends with Steve. That's for sure.
Let's check the visuals out. Let's see if there's any advanced visuals floating around. I'm more and more attuned to this all the time now.
Yeah,
looks like some commons, but that's cool because that color scheme, I like it. I'm starting to become a visual degen here. I'm liking the looks.
Yeah, me too. I like city. I'm liking city as a background. All right, well, congrats. This is just an awesome hero. So thank you for participating in our comment giveaway. Let's go ahead and do this again. So I'm going to put us on the spot here. We have to come up with another good comment question. And so there was a few comments that were really good, and you didn't have your Discord name on there. So make sure you also, when you comment on YouTube, throw in your Discord name so we can reach out to you to get your OX information and send you this hero. So, do you have anything off the top of your head?
I do.
Okay, what's your giveaway
So
question?
we we always do our references to Steve the Pirate, right?
I love it.
Or and you know how he's a gardener that makes it's like a terrible gardener. So I
Yeah.
want your pick a class, any of the hero classes, and an unorthodox profession that goes along with it. Not game profession, but like real world profession. Like, you know, uh, something kind of crazy. Like, is it the night janitor or is it something just crazy?
I like it.
The more unorthodox, the better.
Love it. All right, so you could pick wizard salesman, and he sells produce. So something like that.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
also need to come up with a first name, right?
sure. Why not?
All right.
Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, let's have I love that. So we'll go, points for something that kind of jives well together. If it feels like that character would be in that profession, or just kind of ultimate silliness, right?
That's right.
All right, very good. Okay, so that's on the YouTube comments on this video. Go ahead, throw in your ideas of a unique real life profession for a class of hero that's in DFK. So go ahead and throw some fun ideas out there. That's it for us today. We're trying to keep this stream short and sweet. We got the Gen 1s to get back to and the family. So, Neindorf, thank you very much for joining me, and YouTubers out there, thanks for jumping on. Millstream, congratulations. Awesome job getting this uncommon Dark Knight. Really excited about that for you.
Yeah, congratulations and have a good fourth, everyone. Hopefully, everybody comes home with all 10 fingers.
That's right. All right, well, for us here at ADFK, signing off.